Vio Here, we're going to be talking about this new card that's released. People are freaking out about because they think it's good for Sylvans. It's called Kuribandit. It's a dark level 3 fiend type monster, 1000 attack, 700 defense. During the end phase, if this card was normal summon this turn, you can tribute this card. Excavate the top 5 cards of your deck. You can add 1 excavated spell or trap card to your hand. Also send the remaining cards to your graveyard. This card is not good. It might be decent in Lightsworn, maybe. It might be decent in some of these decks, but it is not good for Sylvan, the main deck people think it's so good for. There are lots of reasons. I'll start out with the easiest reason. It is a Fiend-type monster. Fiend does not work with Sylvans. Yes, if you draw this card and I normal summon it during the end phase, I can excavate cards. That's going to be a different number. But what it is if this card's excavated by a different effect, like if I use the effect of, let's just say, Martial Leaf, I summon an Excavate 2, this card's one of those 2, it goes to the bottom of the deck. I'll never see that card again. It is in the bottom of the deck, it got wasted. The Fiend really is just dumb, it hurts. It's got 1000 attack, which means if I normal summon this thing, and it gets stopped by like Warning or just regular Trap Hole, or any kind of Veiler, stopping its effects from going to resolve during the end phase, you've completely wasted this card. And with the 1000 attack, doing nothing but excavate 5 during the end phase, it's so bad. That's another problem. Excavating 5, yes, during the end phase, sending all of them to the grave, not discriminating only with plants, and only adding 1 spell. If you excavate 5, and you excavate 2 traps and 2 spells, and then 1 monster, was it really worth it to excavate that 1 monster for the waste of your entire turn? There is very strange situations where you might be able to go like 1 for 1 for this monster to do all this other stuff, in which this card says, alright, all I care about is the fact I was normal summoned, I can excavate 5 during the end phase. Does that really outweigh the negatives of the fact that you have to be able to do a crap ton of other things just to excavate 5 cards? There is the Komusrumo when this card's flipped up. You get excavate 5. Well, here's another issue. This card tributes itself off the field. Komusrumo stays on the field. He gets attacked. He flipped up. You get excavate 5. You tribute him off the field. Your field's wide open. First turn. Because of how you play this deck, you're probably not running a lot of traps, and if you are, you're running maybe 4, maybe 5, just because you're not going to get to your traps because you're excavating things all the time. And with all the monsters saying excavate, if it's not a plant, goes to the bottom, excavate, if it's not a plant, goes to the bottom, you're probably not playing more than maybe 15 to 16 spells or traps. That's the way I found it. That's the way I found the most consistent build of it. I'll be posting a list soon. And this card, though, what does this say? Is it says, when this card is successfully normal summoned, you are not allowed to do anything else but put this in the graveyard during the end phase, excavate 5, pray that those are plants. Also remember that if you went first and you did this, your opponent's not going to have cards for you to destroy. All of this is only to just try and get the effects of some possible Sylvan cards. Maybe milling 5 from your deck so great that that's what you need to do. But people saw the word excavate and decided, dude, that means Sylvans. Oh my gosh, excavate 5, add a spell card. I can add back my Sylvan Charity. But there's way more flaws to this card. Yes, it gets to excavate 5, and under ideal situations, when your opponent happens to have cards, you went second, you feel safe with that random 1 trap that you drew that actually does something besides Royal Decree. And you are willing to normal summon this card, have him stay on the field throughout the entirety of the turn with his 1000 attack, not get Veilered, have all these conditions wonderfully met, just to go to the end phase, to mill or to tribute him to excavate 5 cards that you have no control over, in which you'll only be returning back 1 spell or trap, assuming 1 is there, or assuming 5 aren't. This card is way too much of a gamble to be played in this deck. It'll clog up your hands, it'll clog up your deck, you won't be getting things you need. There are a few times when your deck can be clogged, but in decks like this and Lightsworns and stuff, where if you excavate the wrong cards or mill the wrong cards at the wrong times, you end up in really bad situations. It's just this card will not help this deck as much as people are saying it will. I'm perfectly fine with running 1. I mean, in my opinion, the Magical Merchant's better, because that way you're excavating until you draw a spell, meaning that you won't be dealing with excavating way too many spells or traps, and you might get 1 or 2, you might get 10 monsters milled. With this card, you gotta successfully normal summon him, tribute him, cross your fingers you don't excavate 5 spells and traps, have your opponent have cards for this card's excavate to be useful, all the while of him not getting touched. This card is way too inconsistent, way too many problems with it. It should not be used as crazily extensively as people are saying it should be. I know I've said this already, but this card does not work. This deck has some major stereotypes people are going. They see the word excavate and they stinking have a panic attack. And when they start putting cards in the deck, you can tell people who have not played the deck before because they start overreacting to cards like this. Some cards like this, it's just people overreact to them, think they're way better than they actually are. They shouldn't do that. I think that its attack stat does not help at all either. Maybe if it was 16 or maybe 14, it'd be better. 14 would mean that it would evade the bottomless. 16 would mean that you could put it on the field and it wouldn't just die the second it was placed there. But it's a Dark Fiend. It has no synergy with all the plants. The only thing that's synergized is the word excavate. My opinions. Play the deck a little bit before you put this card in there. After you've found a build you like, then try the card. Tell me what you think then. But this card is just, it's not doing it for me. People are going to start doing bad things like, I can run Tour Guide now. I can use Tour Bus now. I can excavate all these cards and have wonderful times. The only decks this card should be played in is if you're using a Chaos version of Light Sworns, where you can mill the top 5 using this card effect, add back a spell instead of having to waste the spell, and now have suddenly a Dark in the Grave. All the while, you're not worried because you can use cards like the Tragodia or the Necrogardenist to protect your field from your opponent destroying you. It's just decks like this are the decks that can utilize this card. There are times like that when the card's okay, but in Sylvan's, it is not fast enough. It clogs up your deck, it clogs up your hand, and it just really does not give you the push that you need. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll try to do more videos about new cards when they come out, and this just like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what I did. Tell me what card I should talk about next. Thanks for watching. Yeah.